How y'all doing? It's Tuesday, November 23rd. I usually do things on a Monday, but unfortunately for yours truly, I was a little preoccupied with stuff. Had to get a lot of stuff done and some shopping and all that good stuff. Ready for Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving weekend, y'all know what to expect. You know this is coming up. Watch out for a shooter. Watch out for a guy with a gun. It's there was the Black Friday deal and all this good stuff. People are going to be fighting on the airports. It's already predicted that there's going to be a bunch of fights on airlines, and all that good stuff. And that's fine. At least there'd be mano a mano fists and all this good stuff. No, the one that's more alarming to me, me being Chris's comments, a show of common sense on common ground. Way of thinking. Honestly, I honestly believe it's going to be the shooter again. You got somebody like Kyle Rittenhouse that shot at people in a crowd. You got 3 guys that are on trial right now for the Aubrey Odmid guy that they ganged up on, saying that it was self-defense and that it was going to, it also looks like they're going to walk no differently than Kyle Rittenhouse did for whatever reason. The thing is that somebody took a chance on shooting somebody, and we are all now realizing that it can be from cops to the courts where, they've got power, they've got people on their side, despite the fact that, again, they wound up shooting somebody that wasn't doing anything wrong. It's obviously just going to be nothing but an inspiration to somebody else to shoot. Now, if there's anything, especially if the 3, now that Rittenhouse has got a walk, if the 3 that are on trial now for shooting a black jogger get a walk, what's going to happen. What's going to happen. This is going to be the key for people of hate to take advantage of. They're going to start pinpointing people. They're going to start looking for targets, individual targets, because they can't get away with mass shootings. Until that time, prepare for mass shootings. Prepare for mass shootings. There's going to be somebody that's just going to be so filled with hate they're going to want to shoot a larger number of people, as opposed to what's going on lately. It's more than likely going to be around the Thanksgiving weekend. That Black Friday thing where everybody's lured together in groups, to shoot at. Right now, currently on the news, there's just a bunch of individual oddball shootings, domesticated shootings. Not that that's a good thing, but those are killings or shootings or injuries that are done privately amongst people. A guy, I forgot which side, I think on the northeast side, got shot in an argument of a party that people were partying and stuff. An argument broke out, and one of the guys shot somebody and then took off. There's quite a few things that just seriously make you, or at least make me pause and wonder how extreme this might get. And it's a very fair assessment. This sort of brings me to another subject concerning mass shooting. Somewhere in California, a total of 80 people robbed a Nordstrom department store, taking off with, dozens of merchandise and all this other stuff. To top it all off, the employees there were completely victimized. They were pepper sprayed and basically attacked. while people were, robbing the store. Now, I don't really expect this to happen in our necks of the woods, like my place here in San Antonio, Texas. I don't really see that happening down here. But let's say that it does. That's going to be perfect for somebody to do some mass killings. So honestly, if you see some kind of flash mob, some kind of group doing something like this, honestly, I think we should stand clear of it, And it's going to be, because it'll be justified carrying a gun and killing a dozen people. One of the reasons that they're gonna glorify this is because of the families of Parkland shooting victims settle with the U.S. over FBI's failure to stop the gunman. Okay, that's a tainted mark over the FBI. Because those at the Parkland shooting, those are the survivors and the victims of that shooting in Parkland. They won a court case against the FBI, and that's going to anger somebody. It's going to anger somebody. They're going to look at how FBI is being treated, and then look at how the what happens in California when people are just left to do what they want to do, the chaos and all this other stuff. Now all of a sudden caring about employees getting attacked is a huge deal, and it's just dumb. It's just dumb. Now again, I don't really see too much of this going on, but at the same time, it's quite possible that there's going to be an attacker wherever you are, and more than likely here in Texas. Texas state troopers will be out in force Thanksgiving week looking for those traffic violations. Okay, they're going to be too busy on the streets pulling people over, texting and driving and all that, and that's fine. But more than likely, they're going to be a little bit slow on stopping somebody that pulls out a gun and shoots into a crowd, at a store. Whether the people in the crowd are guilty of looting, or whether they're just actual guests. And then there's the thing, with Rittenhouse, who got a walk. There's going to be a question as to whether or not the Texas state troopers are even going to do anything about it, or they're going to pat the guy on the back the way they did that 17-year-old the day he shot 3 people in the crowd. You might actually wind up on the victimizing side. You might actually wind up looking like one of the bad guys frowning at this shooter. It's a bit of a concern. It's a bit of a concern. So with this segment, let's all just be careful out there. Keep an eye out for the shooters, because honestly, it's just not certain as to whether or not there's going to be any justice following it. So I think the one thing that we have to remember is clues, warning signs to look out for. People who look at everything through this negative thing in a rhetoric form or anti-propaganda form, And I bring up the anti-propaganda because if y'all remember the Dallas shooting where 5 cops were killed because the shooter said he just really got tired of the way the cops were abusing and killing, African Americans like himself. This is a guy that fell for, somebody's preachings of ACAB being all cops are bastards. Somebody listened to those preachings and fell for it, and he started shooting down on cops, I think in a parade. This was a few years back, but it still hasn't, it's still a very horrible thing to remember. And then you got the flip side where you got the rhetoric which follows everything under the sun as opposed to one specific thing. You got a conservative extremist saying that he wants to bring Christ and into schools. He wants to bring church and schools together. He wants to bring church and politics together. And that's the only way to bring Texas back, which, sounds stupid, but there are people that literally believe this, along with people that don't want to work. We got food chains and event centers and all this stuff that are complaining about people not being able to hire the staff that they need to get this event going or to get this food business up and running. When we all know the real reasons why, it's because they're just not paying anything and people are waking up to that. They don't want to work for chump change anymore and they want to go work for some other job. But that's not what the rhetoric is saying. The rhetoric is saying that people just don't want to work. They want to ride off of the government's giveaways and all this stuff. They want to ride on the tailcoats of Biden and or whatever president is next. No differently than they said it about Obama. No differently than they said it about Clinton. No different than when they said about it when I was a little child about Jimmy Carter. Who was president around the time that I was born, when I was young, when I was a little baby, a little kid. And they'll throw these kinds of things, and then the immigrants, apparently there's another wave of immigrants on the way over here. They might get slowed down because of the cold, but there's another wave of immigrants. They're currently struggling through Mexico right now. They might make it here in December, by the end of this week and into December. But they're going to be suffering through some harsh conditions. I know for a fact that Texas isn't going to help. Our leaders aren't going to help. In fact, our leaders are going to enforce restrictions and all this good stuff. So you might actually see some mass shootings recorded at the border. Not necessarily out here in San Antonio or any other city where this might take place. But even if we do, let's say it's still about immigrants, it might happen in a Chinatown or Little Italy somewhere. San Antonio doesn't have anything like that, no matter how much certain nations want to. I know Little Mexico, currently it's just this little food court area, a little food truck area that labels itself Little Mexico. Thankfully, we have too much of a wide berth of genres, economic levels to have that take place. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. I'm a rideshare driver. I've roadshare driven a guy from Melbourne, Australia, to one of the $100,000 houses over there in Kirby, which is the southeast side of San Antonio. Now, he came here for whatever reason. He just liked the place. I've also Uber driven another man from Melbourne, Australia, to the rich sides over in the north and northwest side of town, where those the $500,000 homes. Now these two guys don't know each other, and they're here for whatever reason. They like this place. This place is business, the job, whatever. But they're here, and they're in their demographic, the economic demographic that they're in. They don't know each other, and that's the way it is with all nationalities and races here in San Antonio. We got this really good mix, and everybody's divided so far by class of society, or economic class of society, and in a way it just sort of meshes all of us together. So we don't really have a discriminative neighborhood, and I honestly think that would be my cue to start shooting up a place. We start having this little Italy, little Mexico, Chinatown, Ireland town, or whatever. That form of segregation doesn't belong down here in San Antonio. And I'll shoot them all outside of their towns and force them to mix match with us all over again if I have to. Because of the bigotry that comes with it. Because of the certain roads that you're not permitted to take when when a neighborhood is dominated. But I'm a rideshare driver. I go through all roads. I'm not gonna be. I am not gonna be in favor of this birds of a feather bullshit. Fuck that. But again, that's if it ever happens down here, which so far doesn't look like it. It might happen in another Texas town, but thankfully this place doesn't let you. So we got all these weird ass reasons to pick up a gun and shoot, and there's a lot of warning signs. So please make sure to pay attention. Pay attention to those. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to anybody that tells you it's this, it's that, and they got to be stopped or some kind of horseshit. That's just a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. It's still stupid. No, it's so, with the exception of maybe, saving a life, nobody has any real reason to shoot into a crowd. And that's pretty much it. I'd like to just keep on rambling about a bunch of stuff, but there isn't really much else worth to talk about. Right now, it's just the warning signs, politically, judicially, socially, social media, mediocrity, you name it. There's a bunch of reasons why somebody can go out and start shooting somebody, start creating some chaos. And if we can, we should really, we should be like that guy in the church 6 years ago, Baptist church down southeast Texas, southeast San Antonio. This disgruntled man who didn't want his wife to divorce him and take off with his kid, he started shooting at a church, and then he went inside that church and started shooting. He shot his wife. But some unarmed churchgoer snuck up on him and punched him, forcing the gunman to run out. What he didn't know is that some neighbor across the street who heard the gun shooting, went into his house, pulled an AR-15 out, started shooting at the gunman when he came out of the church. The gunman got scared, ran into his truck, tried to take off. The neighbor and the churchgoer jumped into a vehicle, and they gave chase to the point to where the gunman, just lost control on the road, fell into a drainage ditch. But before the cops or the two regular citizens, the neighbor and the churchgoer, could catch him and apprehend him, the gunman put a gun to his head and just, blasted his brains out. Now, I'm not saying we should attack any gunman, but if he's within swinging distance, me personally, as a rideshare driver, obviously, if I come around something like that, I'm gonna hit him with my car, and then I'm gonna jump out and kick his ass. But if more than likely I'm gonna be on the road. So this is more for all of you out there. Just stay safe, be careful, keep distance, watch out for somebody if you're within swinging distance. Who knows? Give it a shot. Or, knock the gun out of his hand. Guys with rifle, if you're close enough to jump on it, just grab a hold of it, throw your whole body weight, force that gun down to the ground. And let somebody else wrestle him down, grapple hold him, whatever. These days, here in San Antonio, it's open carry. We're technically permitted to carry a gun for ourselves, for self-defense. So just throwing it out there. And I can throw that out there here in San Antonio because fighting back is what we do. I will hit you with my car if I can. Somebody will punch your lights out if he can. You will get stabbed or shanked, with something, the ends of the glasses, take the glasses off and use it as a stabbing weapon and shit. We will do that, We're still the city that has open territory, grassy areas. If we can pick up a rock and knock you out with clock you one and crack your skull open with it, we will. That's just the way us native San Antonians are. Sorry. So again, the show of concern is more for all of you out there who are watching. Because we know we've got it covered once we've got that angle. We know, we in San Antonio, we're more than likely going to jack him up. But I am concerned about all of you out there. There's somebody in El Paso to all the other Southwest states. Sorry, I'm in need of another cup of coffee. I am a little bit more concerned for you guys out there and my fellow man. I'm concerned about everybody, even here in San Antonio. Here in Texas, we can hold our own. Almost every gunman that has tried some kind of shit, even the gunner in Sam Houston, he shot a bunch of Yankees. That Muhammad guy in Fort Sam Houston. He was a soldier that shot soldiers in the dining hall. He shot a bunch of Yankees. It was a couple of Texans MPs that took him on and cornered him in the corner, and that's Fort Sam Houston, northeast San Antonio. So we got it covered here. You can kill us, but you can start killing a lot of us. But you're not gonna get away with it, dog. I can tell you that much. So again, that's the reason why my concern is all for you out there. My concern. I care about all of you out there. We're okay down here. We'll be okay. We'll fuck up whoever. Excuse my language. Sorry. We'll jack up whoever. But you guys take care of yourselves, okay? That's all that I'm trying to say. It's Thanksgiving, 2021, second year of the pandemic. The COVID-19 transformed itself to the Delta virus, which in layman's terms is a more clingier virus, a little bit more tough to kill. but we're still holding strong. Sometimes the rates rise, sometimes the rates drop, and that's what we're all noticing. But they're dropping, So just keep on being safe. If you know your body by now, take whatever vaccine is available to your body. I understand not all of you are as lucky, as fortunate as I am, who grew up off of vaccinations and immunization shots and flu shots and all sorts of I've taken a TB shot. I've taken tuberculosis for when I was in jail for DWI. It's one of the reasons why I sobered up. I told myself a long time ago, if I ever get caught, that's when I know it's time to quit. And there it is, August 27, 2001, 20 years sober, doing good, 20 years sober and loving it. But yeah, I've taken all sorts of shots, vaccine shots, immunization shots, flu shots, allergy shots, you name it, I've taken them. I can't expect all of you to be as fortunate as I am. So learn your body, get to know it, and take the appropriate medication, and stay safe out there. Okay? I'm out of time. You guys take care. Have a good one. Stay safe. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week. This is Chris's Comments, show of common sense on common ground. Signing out.